What's the secret to holiday shopping on a tight budget this year? And how do you turn a couple $100 into a fantastic gift opening event? The holidays, they're not always easy. In fact, for many people, it's a stress-ridden season that just happens to be filled with sounds of jingle bells and Michael Bublé. So, if that's you and you're trying to get your bills paid and have presents to wrap this year, keep on watching. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ask Abby, our live show where we talk about money, all things money, including credit and debt. Debt isn't an easy thing to talk about, and believe it or not, I understand that firsthand. So I'm here to help get you through it in one piece, help you understand your debt options, your payment options, and ultimately make the most of those dollar bills, y'all. But really, there are many people who aren't hollering about their dollar bills this holiday season. It's a tough one. The pandemic has taken a toll on the economy. Lost jobs mean bills go unpaid. So how are you supposed to find the funds to buy gifts this year? This is just one of the things that we're going to talk about in this episode. So stick with me. Don't hesitate to ask questions about budgeting, financing options, debt relief, or just let me know what's on your mind this holiday season. So please take a minute, hit that like button for me, and share this video as we dive into our first question, which is, to finance or not to finance? That is the question. There are a few ways to finance nowadays, and most companies, they make it pretty easy. Why, you might ask? Because if you finance, they make more money. And if you pay cash, the only money they make is on the product itself. What do you mean by that, Abby? Let me tell you. Anytime you finance anything, you make payments on an item in installments, which basically means you pay back a large sum over the course of time. So if you buy something for $100, you might pay for 5 months in $20 installments. That's what that means. And there's almost always interest on the back end of the financed amount, which means that you end up paying more than the item is actually worth. What? Yeah, for example, we did a breakdown of the different payment options if you want to finance a common holiday item like a KitchenAid stand mixer. In this example, you have the option of financing with a company called Affirm. They charge APR based on two things. The first one is your credit score, and the second one is the term length. So in this example, you can get 0% APR if you finance for 3 months and if your credit score is stellar. That's the fine print. If you want to finance for 12 months, though, your APR is probably going to be closer to somewhere around 15%, depending on your credit score, of course. And you actually end up paying $33.61 in interest over the course of what's essentially a stand mixer loan. So the question is it worth it? It's a good question, and here's what I would say. If you have an extra $40 per month, and all I want to do is give one of my family members or friends a stand mixer, then yes, in this case, it's probably worth it. I'd rather keep $400 in my pocket, just in queso, and budget $40 over time. That's a lot easier on my wallet this season. So if you're curious and you want to explore that scenario a little bit further and learn more about your options, you can check out this episode of Can I Afford This? It's our new series where we break down all the different payment options of different items. And in this case, we did a KitchenAid stand mixer. And there are a lot of different options for purchasing something like that. The original cost of the stand mixer is like $400. I think it's $399. And we break down all the different options for you to be able to understand whether or not you can actually afford it. We've got a new one coming up this week where we break down another Can I Afford It? So make sure you don't miss that one. That said, financing isn't always a good idea. For example, some financing options require a hard pull on your credit score. And to me, if it's something like a stand mixer or a few $100s at Best Buy or Target, that hard pull is probably not worth it. This is where we start talking about the real genesis of the holiday gifting predicament. What's the true cost of your holiday debt? It might seem pretty straightforward, but it's not. In the instance above, the true cost of your holiday debt from a high level looks like just $36, right? Your stand mixer costs $3.99. You finance for 12 months, 15% financing. You pay an extra $36, right? Wrong. If your budget's tight, that $40 per month could be the difference between having groceries one week versus not having groceries the next week. So while $40 a month might seem okay, it's important to actually sit down and add that $40 to your budget and make sure the rest of your bills still fit. So that's important, right? If you have an extra $40 a month, that's one thing. If you have $400 cash, that's great. But what and how is it going to fit into the rest of your expenses? You don't want to risk all of your current expenses just to make the holidays work. You want to make sure that the rest of your ends can meet before you add in something new. Let me know if you have any questions on scenarios just like that. But another thing to discuss about the true cost of your holiday debt when it comes to financing is the impact it has on your credit score. I hinted at that a little bit, but if you're asking yourself, why should I even care about my credit score? It's a good question, and definitely you're not the first one to ask it, which is why I did a whole show on convincing you why you should care about your credit score. There are good reasons. We answer two questions in the show I'm about to put in the comment bar. One is, why should you care about your credit score? And the other is, which payments should you stop making if you're in a pinch? Here's the thing. There are people making hard decisions out there. And if that's you, I want to know how I can help. I want to know what questions you have about payment options that are out there. We're going to talk about them today. But if you have a specific question about maybe utility payments, let me know. I will find an answer for you right here, right now. So check that out, that link in the comment bar about the importance of your credit score, and also some advice if you can't make all the ends meet this holiday season. So jumping back in to the true cost of your holiday debt, the connection and that connection to your credit score, we have to talk about applying for new credit. Around the holidays, so many companies are offering seemingly great deals on credit cards, right? No interest for 12 months, no payments for 2 months, 5% cash back. We've done that before, and it all sounds great, right? It's super tempting to open up a new line of credit, but when you do that, it involves a hard pull on your credit, which means your credit score will drop. It could be up to a few dozen points, could be up to 60, and depending on the type of pull, up to 100 points. It's happened to me. It happens all the time when people are unaware of what types of applications, like credit card applications, seem harmless, but they're not on the back end. So you have to ask yourself, is that new credit card's benefits worth the long-term credit score effects? For example, what if somewhere down the line in 2021 or even towards the end of 2020, you're forced to move? Whether that means you were evicted, or maybe you can't afford your existing rent payment and you're looking for something less expensive and you need to move. That's something that's happening across the country right now. So it's important to know that when you move, most apartment complexes or landlords will pull your credit to make sure that they aren't getting themselves into a sticky situation. So a low credit score in this case could really hurt you. You might never make the connection between that Best Buy or that Target or Macy's credit card, but your landlord could. And if you have extensive amounts of debt and your credit score is low and you've had numerous hard pulls on your credit score, that could be a red flag that stops you from getting into a new apartment. So that's when you have to ask yourself, is paying that $300 on an existing credit card, or maybe not at all, something that you might think about rather than opening up a new line of credit and hurting your credit score? For the full breakdown of how credit score or how store cards affect your credit score, and what to do if you have too many, watch this show I'm about to put in the comment bar. I noticed a couple more people joined, so we're talking today about your holiday budget, how to make the most of it. We're talking about financing versus paying cash, and what to do if you're trying to make ends meet with your bills while still somehow having Christmas presents to wrap. So if that's you, or if you have questions, please don't hesitate, put them in the comment bar. I will get that answered for you. But basically, to sum up the show, I just put in the comment bar, store cards usually aren't a great idea. They have high interest rates, low credit limits, and ultimately do more harm than good to your credit. So just beware before you take advantage of those 5% cash back great deals. They're not always great deals. Another thing to keep in mind is that these companies have to make money somehow. And they do that by depending on the fact that you'll overspend and not make your payments. So for every month you carry a balance, you pay interest. And for every payment you miss, they charge you a fee, not to mention the effects that a missed payment can have on your credit score. So that $400 credit card purchase can turn into a $500 purchase in a hurry. Plus, it'll damage your credit score even more along the way. So you get that hard pull on your credit to open up a new line. Plus, you're paying interest. Plus, you miss a payment and your credit score plummets. So if you're wondering what actually happens when you miss a credit card payment, because there are some nitty-gritty details in there. For example, you might be 30 days late on a credit card and no one ever knows, never gets reported to your credit report. All those details are in that show that I just put in the comment bar. There we go. It's in the comment bar now. So we have some great tips in there. If you are in that situation where you're thinking, I might be missing a credit card payment this month, next month, whatever the case may be, there's, believe it or not, a right way to miss a credit card payment and a wrong way. Obviously, it's never ideal, but it happens. So watch that show. So the true cost of that holiday debt can easily be a lot more than just a price tag. We've learned that. It can be credit score drops, interest rates, late fees, not to mention the detrimental effect it can have on your budget and ultimately your mental health. So before you finance or open a new line of credit, think twice. If you have questions about financing or interest rates or store cards, please feel free to drop them in the comment bar. I'm going to move on to a slightly different topic. I want to talk about how to avoid that holiday debt in the first place. And I have 3 big tips for you. 1, decide your spending limit. 2, plan for debt early. A lot of people can think of budgeting early, but if you're in trouble or you're not quite ready to start budgeting ahead of time for actual cash funds, budget for your debt early. And then number 3, get some extra help. So the first thing you should do is understand what extra, if any, you have to spend this year. Then break down that and assign a budget for each person. So you want to know your total amount that you have for gifting and then each person's amount. It makes it much easier to find gifts, deals, understand your financing options that way. And then you can, let's say you find you have a budget of X amount and you know what you're going to spend on each person, and you can find all those gifts at one store. Financing might be a good option then. You don't have to spend hundreds or sometimes thousands out of your pocket all at once. You could consider financing all at the same store. An easy way to know how much extra you have this month without actually sitting down and figuring out and looking at all your bank statements is to do it automatically. And an easy way to do that is to sign up for our free technology that syncs up your current income and all your expenses and lets you know what's left over. That leftover money is great. It makes you feel good, and the more the better, right? But it's not always easy to figure out how much you have. So check out this link. I will put it in the comment bar. Sign up using that link. It's completely fast, free. It's completely free, and it's fast and easy to sign up. And if you need help along the way, you can call our coaches and ask them any questions you have. It's also free to do that. You can also comment to me if you're having issues. We also have a little chat feature, and that chat feature on the website goes directly to me. So if you have any questions, you can chat with me on the website. Plus, that technology not only shows you what you have left over or how much you're maybe, negative in your cash flow, but it also gives you customized recommendations based on what you sync up to see if there are any quick and easy ways to improve your finances and get you a bit more out of your money. So it's pretty cool, and it's an easy way to figure out how much you need to spend. Step 2 is planning for your holiday debt and doing so early. It's one thing to plan for your holiday spending, but if you have nothing to spend, then you're planning for debt. The best way to do this is if you know come January that you're going to have an extra $40 per month every month for that stand mixer, start making that payment early and putting the payment in your savings so that if you're ever in a pinch, you can have a backup plan. You have that money allocated already to that payment. Then you don't risk the late fees, the late payments, and potentially the harm to your credit score. The other big thing is after you figure out how much you're going to allocate to your holiday gifting, make sure you calculate that into your budget. In the tool on creditanddebt.org, you can just adjust that manually so that your outgoing expenses get updated with the new payment before you ever even make the first one. So if you sync your bank account and it says that you have $200 extra a month, that's great news. Let's say you know that you're going to spend $100 per month moving forward. You just want to make sure and manually edit that so that it only shows that you have $100 extra, so that you're looking at the real deal rather than knowing your payment's coming in January, but it's not yet, so I have $200 extra. That's not the mindset. You want to make sure you make that payment early and allocate to it ahead of time. Step 3, we take step 3 to the next level. So we've got number 1, understand how much you're going to spend, and number 2, plan for debt early. Step 3 is to take it to the next level. Truth is that step 1 and 2 sound great in theory, and they're definitely steps you should take no matter your financial situation. But if you have debt and you know you're going to build on it more this season, you should take those DIY steps and turn them into step 3, which is to involve our coaches. The thing is that it's not easy to DIY your debt relief. That's why we have professional coaches who are experts in the debt space. They've heard it all, from car repos to personal loans to credit card debt, student loans, foreclosures. They've heard it all, and they can understand why you're in the situation you're in, and not only help you make the most of it this holiday season, but also help you reduce that debt and work toward living completely debt-free, which sounds great. So how do you call them? Honestly, step 3 is easier than step 1 and 2 because it's not DIY. All you have to do is go to credit.org or use the link I put in the comment bar, creditanddebt.org. Use the link in the comment bar, sign up, and once you get to the platform, just click Contact a Coach Now, and our coaches will give you a call and walk through it. Our coaches are online today to help you. So if you want to get a head start on your budget before Cyber Monday comes around, you can definitely give them a call now. They'll help you create that budget. They'll help you understand your debt options. They are not online Thursday or Friday, but you can call on Saturday. So go sign up, request a coaching session, and they'll call you as soon as possible. If you want to hear about it yourself, watch last month's Ask Abby episode where I interview a financial coach whose name is Claudia. She works for Credit.org, our financial coaching partner, and she explains in detail how the coaching process works. You call in, you talk to either Claudia or one of her teammates, and they will help you. So if you're curious exactly how it works and how the heck it's free, I know we say it's free all the time, but how? We explain all that in that episode. So I'm going to hang out for a minute and wait for some questions. I want to know what questions you have about your holiday spending this year. Maybe you have some questions on COVID-19 relief options during the holidays, maybe keeping your bills paid, which bills should or can you stop paying right now without detrimental consequences. So I'm going to stay on and talk about these to give you a bit of time to send in your questions before the holiday season. So let's dive in and talk about some COVID-19 relief. So first and foremost, evictions. We talked a little bit about this. It's something that's happening right now. You never want to face something like an eviction, let alone during the holidays. So the good news is that the CDC issued a temporary moratorium on most evictions, which that just means like a bill, on most evictions through the end of 2020. You have to meet certain qualifications to apply for the exemption on evictions, and you have to send a signed declaration to your landlord. I have all these resources for you. So these qualifications include a maximum of $99,000. You can't make more than $99,000, or if you're married and file your taxes jointly, then double that. Or if you've experienced a substantial loss of income or have extraordinary medical expenses, and then there's a few other qualifications too. So I'm going to put in a couple resources for you while we are here. So that is the information on eviction protection specific to your state. So not only did the CDC issue that temporary moratorium, but also states have different protections for people as well. So you want to look at both. You want to be able to qualify for both the CDC one and the statewide one. I think one of the qualifications for the CDC moratorium is that you extinguish all other help. So either way, you should have options if you look at that link. Another one is the qualifications. So I have the link, to those qualifications here. So that'll show you all the different qualifications. Like we said, maximum income is one, loss of income is one, extraordinary medical expenses is one, and then there's a couple others. And then lastly, if you already know that you qualify, or you look at those two documents up above, this is the template you have to send to your landlord in order to not be evicted on the CDC's moratorium. So if you send this and then scroll to the bottom of this page, there's just a very simple document. You just have to fill out the top and then sign the bottom, I think, and you should be good to go. It gives your landlord, if you print out the first couple pages, it gives your landlord the background of the CDC moratorium, why you qualify, and etc. So that should help you. And unemployment is a big one right now too. So evictions and unemployment, they kind of go hand in hand. That's why one of the qualifications for the CDC's moratorium is a substantial loss of income. So if you're unemployed or you're out of unemployment benefits, I did a whole show on what to do when those unemployment benefits run out and how to make the most of them while you have them. So that's now in the comment bar. And if you end up having questions about the holidays, whether it's making the most out of your holiday budget or making ends meet to pay your bills, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or the coaches at Credit and Debt. We're here for you. We're here to help you understand your options and make the most of any situation you might be in. I always say this, but it's our goal to help you get the credit you deserve. And when we say that, I mean a lot more than just credit scores. So if you like our show, I would be super grateful if you hit that thumbs up button and share it so that other people can watch it too and get some help that they need, maybe around the holidays or with some COVID-19 relief. That's it for the show today, everybody. I hope you all have a healthy weekend, and I will see you next time on Ask Gabby.